So hi guys, I am Shubham Agrawal and today we are going to study about operators and control flow statements. Okay, so we have already covered in the previous lecture about storage classes and preprocessor directives. So this is a short recap of our previous lecture in which we have studied about auto class, register class, static class and extern class, storage class. Then we have studied about preprocessor directives that are macros, file inclusion, conditional and other directives. Okay. After that we have studied about type dev operator and difference between type dev operator and hash define operator. Then we have studied about basic IO, that is printf and scanf. After that we have studied comments in C, that is single line comment and multi-line comment. Okay. So today's agenda is this. So we are going to study about operators, what are operands, then we will study about types of operators in C, and then we will study about the precedence of operator and associativity of operator which are used to evaluate an expression, and then we are going to study about control flow. Okay, so in control flow we are going to study about if else statement and switch case, loops, and some statements like break, continue, go to, return, etc. So loops and statements like break, continue, go to, etc. will be covered in the next lecture. So today's task is our today's task is operators and control flow. In that, if else will be there and switch case will be there. And also we are going to do one gate question on based on switch case that was asked in gate. Okay. So this is our today's agenda. So let's move on to operators. Okay, so what are operators? So before operator we first to need to know about operand. Okay, so operand is so suppose one second, suppose we have a expression. Okay, so expression is something like this: a plus b. Okay, so this a plus b expression, in this the operand is a and b. Okay, and the operator is plus. Okay, so this plus operator defines the functionality of adding two integers or adding two numbers. Okay, and this operands a and b, okay, will be operated by this plus symbol, and their result would be the addition of a and b. Okay, so as you can see in the definition of an operand, that is operands are the expression of values on which operator works. Okay, then we have operator. So operators are nothing but the symbol that are used to perform some mathematical or logical computation. Okay, uh, and in C language there are many built-in operators that we are going to study, and yeah, so operators can also be classified by the number of operands on which they work on. Okay, so first is unary operator, in which only one operand is needed. Then we have binary operator, in which two operand is needed, and then we have ternary operator, in which three operand is needed. So unary operator example would be minus symbol. So if we put minus symbol before any variable, then it changes its sign. Okay, then we have binary operator. So this example would be a binary operator where two operands are there, a and b. Then there is ternary operator. So ternary operator we are going to study in the later slides. Okay, so these are the types of operators. So types in this lecture we are trying to cover all these operators and some other operators also which are present in C language. Okay, so unary operator, arithmetic operator to perform mathematical tasks like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. Then we have relation operator for comparing two things. Then we have logical operator to do some logical computations like AND or XOR. Then we have a bitwise operator, in which we are going to do some bitwise operations on an integer, because the integer is represented in bits in system. Okay, then we have shift operators okay, in which we shifts the bits of an integer by to some places from right or left, depends on the operator that we have used. After that, we have assignment operator, which is used to assign some value to a variable with some operation. Okay, then we have ternary operator, uh, and ternary operator which takes three operand, in which one is condition and second is the value of the condition if it is true or false. Then we are going to study other operators like size of operator, comma operator, etc. So let's start with unary operator. Okay, unary operator are the operators which are used to perform some operation on a single operand. Okay, so here operand is only one thing. Okay, so for example, if I have declared int a equal to -5, so after declaring this variable a is equal to -5, now if I put a minus before a, okay, so this will become 5, so its value will become 5 because minus would cancel with minus. Okay, so negative negative means positive. Okay, then we have post increment operator. So this is used to increment a value by 1 after evaluating after evaluating the function expression. Then we have pre-decrement operator. In this, the value is first decremented and then it is used in the expression. So we will study about post increment and pre-decrement in the later slides. Then we have unary minus operator. So we have talked about unary minus operator already, that is minus a. So it just changes the sign of the operand. Okay, if it is positive, then it will become negative, and if it is a negative number, then it will become positive. So yeah, so like int a equal to 10, minus a would be minus 10. Okay, yeah. So let's move on to our increment operator. So increment operator is an operator which is used to increment a number by 1. So where it is used? So it is used in loops where we want to iterate around some list or some array, and we will talk about list and array in the later slides. And uh, this is very useful because it is very short because its notation is very short. So to write because to increment any number we have to write something like this: a equal to a plus 1. Okay, so instead of writing 5 symbols, we can just do it by simply a plus plus. Okay, so there are two types of increment operator. First is pre-increment operator and second is post-increment operator. So in pre-increment operator, the operand is after the operator. That means operator comes first, then operand comes. So this is the notation for this, and its value get changes before the evaluation of an expression. So if we have expression like this: b equal to b plus plus a. So in this expression, first the value of a will be incremented. So initially the a is 10, so first it will incremented and it will become 11. Okay, so it will become 11, and after that the value will get added. So b is 5 and uh, a is 11. Okay, so it will become 16. So now the value of b would be 16. Okay, then we have a post increment operator in which the operator follows the operand. Okay, the value of the operand will be changed after it is used. Okay, and in the post increment operator, first the value is used, then it is incremented. So first 5 plus 10 will happen, and b will be 15. Okay, so b will be 15, and after that the value of a will be changed, that is 11. Okay, so as you can see, 5 equal to 5 plus 10 equal to 15. So the value of a used was before the increment operation. Okay, so this is about the increment operator. Now let's come to decrement operator. decrement operator is similar to increment operator, but in decrement operator we are decrementing the value by 1 instead of incrementing. Okay, so there are two types of decrement operator, like increment operator, that is pre-decrement operator, and post-decrement operator. So in pre-decrement operator, first the decrement operation will be done, and after that the value will be used. So in this, first the value will be changed, so 10 will become 9. Okay, and then the value would be added in the expression. So 5 plus 9, so it will be 14. Okay, and after that we have post decrement operator. So in this post decrement operator, the value is used first and then it is decremented. So we have 5 plus 10, that will be 15, and now the value will get decremented, so a will become 9. Okay, so this is about pre-decrement and post-decrement operator. Now let's move on to arithmetical operators. Okay, so arithmetical operators are something which are used to do some arithmetical operation, so like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. So we all know addition means it add two numbers. Subtraction, it just subtract one number from another. Then we have multiply, which multiplies two numbers. Okay, then we have division. So here the in C, if integer is divided, one second, integer is divided by integer, so we have int, yeah, and we are dividing it by int. Okay, now integer by integer is equal to integer. Okay, that means if I divide 10 by 5, it will become 2 because it is divisible by 5. Okay, but if I do something like this, 10 divided by 3, then it would be 3, but not 3.33. So integer divided by integer is integer, so it will return the quotient of the division operation. So 3 divided by 3 will 3, and in modulus it returns the remainder of the division operation. So when 10 divides by 5, so what will be the remainder? It will be 0. Okay, and when 10 divided by 3, what will be the remainder? It will be 1. Okay, so this is about the arithmetic operators. Now let's come to relational operators. So relational operators are the operators which are used to compare some values. So we have equal to operator, not equal operator, less than operator, less than equal to operator, then we have greater than operator, greater than equal to operator. Okay, so if 10 is equal to 10, then it will be true because 10 is equal to 10. Okay, if 10 not equal to 10, so it is false because 10 is equal to 10. Okay, so it will be false. Then 10 less than 11, so it will return true because 11 is less than 10. And then 12 less than 11, it is false. Then we have 10 greater than 1, true. 10 less than equal to 11, false. So this is about the relational operator. They are used to compare some values and it will return either 0 or 1. So in C there is no boolean function like true and false. So true means 1, true means 1, and false means 0. Actually true means 1 or some non-zero value. So if something is non-zero, then it is treated as 1. Okay, so you have to remember this point because this is very important point. Because if something is non-zero, then in C it is true, but if something is 0, then it is false. So it is a ground truth in C, that non-zero means true and 0 means false. Okay, so this is about relational operator. Then we have logical operator. So as we have already studied in digital logic that there are some logical gates. So this operators works on that principle only. So AND operator would be, result of AND operator would will be true if both the conditions are satisfied, and result of OR operator would be true if both the conditions are not satisfied. Okay. Then we have NOT operator. So NOT operator, in which uh, if the value is true, then it will be false, and if it is false, then it will be true. Okay. So here you can see in the example that true and false is false. Then we have true and or false, it is true, because one of the value is true. Okay. So it is similar to logic gates in digital logic. Then there is one thing that you have to notice here, that this logical operator are short circuit operator. Means in AND, logical AND, if the condition is if first condition is true, if first condition is false, then the next condition would not be evaluated, because one second. So would not be evaluated because we know that one of the condition is false, then the result would automatically be false. So that's why it is logical short circuit operator. So if first operand is false, then second operand will not be evaluated, and in case of logical OR, if the first operand is true, then the second operand will not be evaluated. Okay. So this is about the logical operators. So yeah. So for example, a equal to 10 and b equal to 4. So result of this would be 10 is equal to 4. That is false, because 10 is not equal to 4. So this thing will not be evaluated, because the result is false, and false means it is not going to evaluate the second operand. Okay. So the result of this program will be no output, because there will be no output here, because if it is true, then this statement get executed, then we will return some then we will get some output like geek squeeze, but for now there will be no output here. So this is about the logical circuit. This is about the logical short circuit operator. Okay. Then we have a bitwise operator, in which we do the task bitwise. Means if two numbers are operated by this operator, then each of their bit will be operated. Means if 2 and 3 is there, okay, then 2 is represented by in 8-bit form by this, and 3 is represented by this. Now we will do bitwise ending of all things. So 0 and 0 will be 0, 0 and 0 will be 0, and so on. Then we'll have 1 and 1 will be 1, and 0 and 1 will be 1. So it 0 and 1 will be 0. Okay. So it will be this, and this represent 2 in binary. So answer would be 2 for this operation. Okay. So this is about the bitwise AND operation. Now we have bitwise OR operation, in which two operands are in which the bitwise ORing is done on each bit. So if we have 2 and 3, then 2 represented by this, 3 represented by this. So we will do just the ORing of each bit. So 1 or 1 1, and 0 or 1 1. So it would be 3. So answer of this operation would be 3. Okay. Then we have bitwise XOR operation. So in this the bitwise XORing is done. So in XOR, as you all know that if the inputs are different, then the result would be 1, and if the inputs are same, then the result would be 0. So 2 XOR 3. So in this, 2 represented by this, 3 represented by this. Now here 1 and 1 are same, so it would be 0. Here 0 and 0 are same, so it would be 0. And here 0 and 1, so it would be different, so it would be 1. So answer of this would be 1. Okay. Now we have bitwise NOT. So it is something like unary means it is a unary operator, but it negates all the bits of a number. So if I have 2, so in binary 2 is written as like this. So if we negate all the bits, so 0 by 1, 0 by 1, and so on, then we have 1 by 0 and 0 by 1. So this number represents -3. And how we have got this value -3? So we have just taken the 2's complement of the numbers, because the sign bit is 1. That's why we know this number is negative. Now to get the true value of this number, so we have to do the we have to take 2's complement of this number, and 2's complement of this number would be, so we have in binary 2 is represented by this. Okay, now we are going to take we are going to negate it, because sorry, so we have taken one second, so this is 3, this is minus 3, so we want to take the compute the true value of this number. So we will first negate its bit, so it would be like this. Okay, so sorry for this. Then we will add 1 to it. Okay, so this number would be 1 1 0 0 and so on. Okay, so it would be 3, so its true value is 3 and its sign would be minus 3, so answer would be minus 3. So this is about the bitwise NOT operator. Now we have shift operator. So shift operator is used to shift the bits by some places. So it is a binary operator in which it takes 2 operands. First is the number and second is the number of bits it should shift. So if it is shifted left in the left direction, then it would be left shift, and if it shifts in the right direction, that it would be the right shift. So as you can see, in the left direction it will be left shift, and in the right direction it will be right shift. So left shift operation means if we are doing x left shift by y, then it is equivalent to x into 2 to the power y. Okay, so if we have 2 left shifted by 3, then it would be 2 into 2 to the power 3, that is 2 into 8, that is 16. So the value of this would be 16. So how this 16 comes? So let's represent 2 in binary first. So we have 0 0 0 0 0 1 and 0. Okay, now we are left shifting it by 3 positions. So this one would be left shifted by here, so this one would come here, and yeah, so this would be our answer. So in binary this number represents 16. Okay, so that's why the answer 16 comes. So whenever we are shifting it by one position, so it is just multiplying it by 2. Similarly, for the right shift, we are dividing it by 2. So if we have 2 left shift, right shifted by sorry, so this would be left right shift. Okay, so if 2 is right shift by 3, then it would be this one will be discarded and all the bits will be 0. So if we right shift it by 3, then it will be 0 0 0 0. Okay, so this is about the shift operators. Let's move on to our next operator, that is assignment operators. So assignment operator is something in which we are assigning the value. So a is equal to 10, it means we are assigning 10 to a, and also it is left right to left associated, because we are taking the value of right and putting in the left operand. Okay, so there are other assignment operator that so all this operator we have studied so far. So just put equal to sign behind them, so it will become the assignment operators. So a plus equal to 10, so it is a shorthand notation for this. For a equal to a plus 10, a equal to a minus 10, multiplication, division, modulus. Then we have bitwise AND, bitwise OR, bitwise XOR. Then we have bitwise shift. Then we have right shift, left shift. Okay, so this is about the assignment operators. Okay, then we have ternary operator. So the ternary operator is represented by this symbol, question mark and dot colon, question mark and colon. So it takes 3 operand and it is similar to if else condition. So if the condition is true, then the value get assigned will be the second expression, and if it is false, then the value assigned would be the third expression. So if this expression 1 is true, then expression 2 is assigned to this variable, and if expression 1 is false, then assignment expression 3 will be assigned to this variable. Okay, and in the if else statement can be represented by this. So if expression 1 true, then variable equal to expression 2, else variable equal to expression 3. So as you can see in the example here, so we have int a equal to 10, int b equal to 5, then we have int c equal to a greater than b. So if a is greater than b, so 10 is greater than 5, so 1 would be assigned to c. Okay, so the value of c will be 1, and if it is 15, then it would be 0. So this is about the ternary operator. Now let's move to other operators. So the other operators are size of operator, which returns the size of any data type or number. It is highly used in a dynamic memory allocation. Okay, so if I have size of, so 1 second, I have size of int, so it will return 4. Why 4? Because in ANSI C, integer is represented by 4 bytes, that is 32 bit, and if it is float, then it would be 4, if it is double, then it would be 8. Okay, so this is about the size of operator. Also you can put parentheses here if you want to just increase the precedence. So we will talk about precedence and associativity in the later slides. Okay, then we have the comma operator, which is used as a separator and as a operator also. So and it has the lowest precedence. Okay, so this is about the comma operator. Then we have precedence. So what is precedence? So if there are two or more operators in an expression, so which operator should be performed first? So this is the question. So in this, precedence comes in the picture, in which if the operator has higher precedence, then it would be applied first, and if the operator has lower precedence, then it would be applied later. Okay, so first we apply here multiply, because multiplication has higher precedence than plus. As we have studied in our earlier classes also, that while solving any arithmetic expression, we use Bodemar's rule, that is BODMAS. So in this, B represent bracket, F represent, O represent off, then we have D division, multiplication M, then A addition, then S subtraction. So here multiplication comes before A, so that's why we evaluate first this expression and then n. But in C, the rules are little bit different, so we follow precedence here, and multiplication has higher precedence than plus. That's why this expression will evaluate it first, so it would result in 600. Okay, so 20 into 60 would be 600, then we will add 10 to it. Okay, so it would be 610. So the result of this would be 610. So this is about the precedence. So if there are more than two operators in an expression, then which operator needs to be performed first, then we will use precedence for this that. But if the operators has same precedence, then what we will do? So in C, multiplication and division and modulus, all three have same precedence, and they have higher precedence than plus and minus. Okay, so then if the operator precedence are same, then we apply associativity rule. So associativity rule means either evaluate left to right or right to left. Okay, left to right or right to left. So this is about associativity. So here multiplication and division has same precedence, so that's why first the multiplication will happen, because it is left to right associative. So this result would be 200, and then we are dividing it by 30, so this would result in 6. So here also 6.666 something will not be there, because in C integer division by integer is integer only, so it would be 6. Okay, so you have to just discard the decimal part. Okay, so it would be 6. So this is about the associativity. Let's come to our operator table chart. So this chart is a little bit long chart in which all the operators in C is covered. So the higher position of the operator, the higher precedence it has in C. So the parenthesis operator has highest precedence of all. So if there is present parenthesis, then its precedence is highest. Okay, then we have subscript operator, and then we have member selection operator, member selection by pointer. Then we have post increment and decrement operator. So we will discuss about subscript operator in while when we study arrays and pointers. We will study about member selection by object name and pointer in structure, enum and union, user defined data types, and parenthesis is used means whenever a function is written, then we return the arguments in this parenthesis. So first the arguments gets evaluated. Okay, and also it is used to increase the precedence of in any expression. So we, if we have a plus b into c, so in this first b into c will happen, but I want a plus b to happen first, so I would just put the parenthesis here. Now this expression will get evaluated first, and after that it will be multiplied by c. So parenthesis is used to increase the precedence of any expression. Okay, then we have post increment and post decrement. Okay, so post increment and decrement have higher precedence than pre increment and pre decrement, and post increment are left to right associative, and pre decrement are left to right to left associative. So you have to keep this point in mind, that the post increment has higher precedence and it is left to right, and pre decrement has lower precedence than post increment, so it is right, so it is not, but it is right to left associative. Okay, uh, then we have operator table. Let us continue. Then we have arithmetical operator, in which multiplication, division and percentile have the same precedence. Then we have addition and subtraction, and after that we have bitwise shift. Okay, left and right shift. Then we have less than or greater than operator. So relational operator has lower precedence than arithmetical operator, and shift operator has highest precedence than relational and all the other operators. Okay, so arithmetical operators have higher precedence than logical, relational and bitwise operator. Then we have equal to, not equal to. Then we have bitwise and XOR, or in which uh, and has the highest precedence, and all these are left to right associated. Only this ternary operator is right to left associated. Other than this, in this table all the operators are left to right associated. So in the previous uh, table, so we have talked about pre-increment and decrement, but we haven't talked about this operator. So this is unary minus, unary plus has no meaning, and this is logical not, and this is bitwise negation. Okay, or complement. Then we have typecast operator. So typecast operator is used to typecast any value. So if I have, so one second, uh, so if I have 6.0 here, and then 5 is there, now I want to convert it into integer, then I will use just put one parenthesis here, and in that I will just write the data type name here. So in which data type I want to convert it, so I will just write int here, so it will just convert it into integer, so it would be 6. So this is typecast operator, in which we are just casting into some other type. Okay, then we have dereference operator, which we will study while when we will study about pointers. And address of operator is gives the address of any variable. So if I write something like this, so address of a, so it will return the address of a in some pointer variable. Okay, then we have size of operator, which determines the size of any data type in bytes. So all these are right to left associative. So we have studied about these operators. Bitwise operator have higher precedence than logical operators, and logical AND has higher precedence than logical OR. Okay. Okay. Then we have operator table continued, that is assignment operators. So assignment operators have least precedence. Okay, and they are right to left associative. And we have comma operator, which has least precedence of all, that is, and it is left to right. Okay, then we have control flow. So in control flow there are many statements like switch, looping statements, break, continue, go to, return statement, etc. So yeah, so so we have one program. In that program some code is written. So in procedural language it will be executed sequentially. Okay, so this program will be executed like this, from top to down, right to left. Okay, so if I want to put some condition in, so I will use conditional statement. If that condition is true, then I will evaluate the rest of the statement, otherwise I will switch to this line. Okay, so I want this functionality, so that's why this statements like break, continue, go to is there. So it controls the flow of program. Okay, and the logic behind is the logic that is used to do that we have to give by ourselves, means what flow we want in our code. So we have to use this statement break, continue, go to for the flow of our program, means how it should be, means it should return from here to here, or from here to here. I want to skip this statement, I want to put some check here. So that's why control flow is very important while implementing any program. Okay, so control flow is also known as flow of control. Okay, so it is the flow of control of a program, that how it is going to execute. And these are the some statements which are used, like switch, break, looping, continue, conditional statement like if else. So we are going to study them one by one. So let's start with if statement. So if statement is its syntax is something like this. So if condition, and if it condition is true, then we will evaluate this part of code. Okay, so this is the body of if condition. So for example, if a is equal to 1, then I will just change the value of this a. I will change it to 2. Okay, then I will end it with semicolon. So I want this. So if previously the value of a was 1, then this condition would be true and it gets updated to 2. Okay, and so this is the flow chart of this. So when we start, if condition arrive, it is true, then the if body gets executed, and if it is false, then the rest of the program will be executed. So body of will be skipped there. So this is about the if statement, and it is very important and see, because when we want to verify or validate something, then if statements are used. Okay, then we have if else statement. So if the condition is true, then this code is executed, and if it is not true, then else code is executed. Okay, this is about the if else statement. If condition is true, then body will execute. If condition is false, then else body will execute, and the rest of the program will be continued as follows. So if I have if so if a equal to 1, then a equal to 2, else a equal to 0. Okay, so if a is equal to 1, then it would become 2, and if it is not, then it would become 0. Okay, so if there is only one statement is there, then we don't have to write this curly braces. Okay, but if it has more than one statement, then we have to use the curly braces, otherwise it would give error. Okay, so here I'm only just writing one statement, a equal to 2 and a equal to 0. There are only one statement, so uh, here I don't need to specify the curly braces. Okay, but it is safe to just specify the curly braces, because sometimes we just forgot that forget that we have written two statement and we have not uses the curly braces there. Okay, then we have if else. Okay, so in this if the condition is satisfied, then this statement get executed. If condition is not satisfied, so else will be there, but there also we have put one condition, and if it is satisfied, then this statement get executed, and then if both of this condition fails, then this statement get executed. Okay, so we can put else if as many times as we want. Okay, so here we are checking for two conditions. So if we have some variable, like suppose we have p in which password is there. Okay, so we have provided some check, like if password length is greater than 6, then we will do something else. If it is not there, then we will see if okay, one second. If password contains some special character or not. Okay, we have written some code here, then we will execute this. Otherwise we will execute this statement. So we can write something like this using else if. Okay, so if there are multiple conditions that we want to test, then we can use else if else. And if there are many conditions that we want to check, then we can use switch case. So switch case is a short substitute of the long if else statement, and in switch case we have argument in which there is integer, and in this integer means it can be integer, character, or some uh, other variable. Okay, like enum, but the in the case statement this expression should be constant expression, so it should not be a variable. So I can't write case a, I should have to write some constant expression here. Okay, so suppose n is equal to 1, so here n is equal to 1, so that's why case 1 gets executed, and after case 1 we have provided break statement, so it will just break from the switch case, and the rest of the code will be executed as it is. Okay, if n is equal to 2, so if n is equal to 2, then this statement get executed, and after that we will break. And if n is not equal to 1 and 2, then default case will be evaluated, and yeah, after that we don't have to write the break statement, because after that it will just break from the switch automatically. Yeah, so this is about the switch case. The one thing that should be noted is that the case after case, the variable after case, the expression should be a constant expression. It can't be a variable expression. Okay, so it can be a, it can be a character constant, like A, capital A. Then it can be a enum. So we will talk about enum in the later lectures. Okay. So it can be a constant expression. Okay. So let's do one gate question first. Okay. So in this gate question, we have a character in char whose value is character A, and in this switch case we have passed this in char variable. So it is A, and here there are some constant expression A, B, C, D, E, and default. Okay. So we have to tell what will be the output of this code. So as you can see, A is there. So we will come to case A and print choice A. So choice A should be our answer, but it is not, because here in this code break statement is missing. Okay, so it will not break from this code. Okay, break from the switch statement. Instead, it will again it will execute the later cases also, because there is no break statement. So case B will also get executed. Then case C will also get executed. D will also, E will also, and default will also get executed, because there is no break statement. So here the switch fall through will happen. Okay, so all the statements gets executed because we are not using break statement here. Okay, so the answer would be choice A will be printed. Okay, choice A, then the new line will be there, and after that choice will be printed, choice B will be printed, and after that there is space, and we have no choice, so no choice will be printed. Okay, so the option matching to this our answer is C option. So the answer of this would be C. So this is the correct answer. So you have to be careful while using the break statement. Means at every case there should be a break statement. Okay. Okay. Fine. So this is about the switch case. So we have done the gate CS. So this question was asked in gate CS 2012. So let's summarize what we have learned in this lecture. We have learned about operators, its types, then precedence, then associativity, then operator chart, and then we have if statement, else if, switch case, etc. Also, we have done one gate question here, and yeah. So for next lecture, we are going to study about loops, for, while, do, while, and about the functions. Okay, so they are very important uh, from the gate point of view. So because in gate there is at least one or two questions that comes from recursion, and before going to recursion we have to study function properly. Okay, so in the next class we would be learning that. So that's all for this lecture. Thank you for watching this lecture. Yeah. Okay, bye.